Good evening, everyone. And here we are on a Sunday evening, the last Sunday evening of 2020. That same 2020 that taught us the new days of life, that brought in revolutions, that brought in revelations in our life, in our learnings, in our everyday journey. Whether it's any relationships, whether it is child mother, child father, parents, whether it's your boss or your colleagues, whether it's the man woman, the husband wife, so be it. We all saw new changes evolve in our lives. This decision to bring in the story of abundance was a decision that happened just as an inspiration. And trust me, as our respected speaker, Nita Sundararaju says, Miss Nita Sundararaju says that if your intention is right, you attract the right elements in your life. Check me if I'm not wrong, Miss Nita.
Absolutely right, Reema.
Thank you. Thank you. First and foremost, before I even thank my fabulous speaker, I wish to thank my fabulous audience and my attendees. This is a Sunday evening. I know it's shy time, but you decided to spend time with Reemarkabl.com on a journey that's going to be, in my eyes, remarkable. Because we have a speaker as astute, as accomplished as Ms. Nita Sundararaju. Nita Sundararaju chose to become a life coach and a law of attraction teacher nearly a decade ago. She runs a very successful Facebook community and a WhatsApp community to teach the law of attraction. She believes that abundance is not in your surroundings, it is also and actually in your mind. Her workshops and her personal coaching have helped hundreds of individuals advance their corporate careers, heal their relationships, and finally ease their illnesses and find joy in their lives. What else but joy in your life? I, frankly, seek happiness. And that's something so simple. Nita Sundararaju, you have been a force to be reckoned with. I've heard you speak. I've seen you connect. And ladies and gentlemen, my august audience, to be a life coach, I truly believe, first and foremost, you need to be a fabulous human being. Anita, which you are. Because if you're not a beautiful person within, how can you reflect that beauty outside? Thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me for the next 1 hour. And as I believe, even if together we can make a difference to just 2 people, this 1 hour is worth it. Absolutely worth it. Because I, myself, face issues in our everyday lives. First and foremost, we are not alone. We are all in it together, fighting this so-called virus, this pandemic. But this pandemic is not just about medical pandemic. It's also a social pandemic. It's a pandemic of parochialism. It's a pandemic of, prejudices. And together, if we can heal each other, we're all sorted. Nita Sundararaju, before I bring you in, I do just like to share with my dear audience, that after 20 years of active journalism, I decided to start Reemarkabl.com with a single-minded dedication and aim to bring in stories of sense and not sensation. Stories which are really noteworthy and just not newsworthy. I've met beautiful people in my 20 years of career, and I felt it's so important to speak about remarkable people doing great work in their lives, places that are special, products that are interesting, and most importantly, where each one of us work with a certain purpose. My channel is all about this, about quality content and knowledge sharing. So Reemarkabl.com was a dream to just bring in stories of sense and not sensation. Not taking too much of your time, I stick to the 5 minutes. Nita Sundararaju. We've had questions coming in, which is so interesting. Questions to be addressed on a Sunday evening. Questions that deal with anxiety. There is a gentleman who asked me that I have made a big blunder in my life. I'm very anxious about that result, that this blunder is going to cause me. How do I handle anxiety through the law of attraction? There's a mother who's very concerned, and she's asking me, how do I let my child study better? How do I attract that kind of vibes for them to get into the knowledge space and read better and learn better and get better grades? I have a relationship issue that has come up to me on my email saying that, how do we improve the spark in our lives? We finished 18 years of our marriage, and now we really want to not give up on each other, but we want to see if there is anything we can work together to bring in that abundance. And lastly, I'm sure there are more questions flowing in, but a question where a person is really facing issues with their boss, a boss which is highly unappreciative, a boss which is showing no respect, and a boss which is constantly nitpicking. So the person is saying, though I have performed in the pandemic, though I have put everything together, but there's zero appreciation. So we are talking about health, we're talking about harmony, we're talking about hope, and we're talking about happiness. And for me, Nita, certainly health. I need to attract better health in my life. Over to you, Nita Sundararaju. Can you take us on this beautiful journey called Law of Attraction, and how do you bring in abundance in your life and all through 2021 and beyond? Thank you so much.
So I'd like to start first of all by saying thank you, Reema, for having me here today. It's absolutely a joy to be here and share what I know, and especially in a conversation with you, because I know your journey, and I've seen you over the years. For people who don't know, we've known each other for a long time, right? So yeah, and I've seen you, and I know how compassionate you are, how concerned you are about people around you, and I know why you're doing this, because your journey is all about your compassion and your wanting to help people around you. So yes, it's really a privilege to be here. It's an honor. Uh, so
Thank you.
so shall we start with since our talk is going to be about abundance. Um, the first thing that we need to know about when we're talking about abundance is how we can get things so that we feel abundant, right? We generally believe that abundance means when we have everything that we want, and to get everything we want, we need to have a certain kind of we need to understand how we can manage to get everything we want first. And what is the most important thing that we can learn so that we can have everything we want? And that is the law of attraction. So if I can have some time to just address the law of attraction, and we go on to abundance, right? So I'm going to start with a PowerPoint presentation. Let me just share my screen. Yes. Okay. Can everyone see? Great. Yeah. Okay. So we are talking about law of attraction. Now, in simple words, what is the law of attraction? First of all, it is the most powerful law that governs the universe. It doesn't just govern one country or two countries or a few countries, and it doesn't just govern the earth. It governs the whole universe. This is how the universe functions. And what does this law say? It says that which is like unto itself is drawn. In simple words, like attracts like. We've heard this being said in different ways all through our years growing up. Simple things like birds of a feather flock together. What does that mean? It means things that are similar will come together automatically. It is just how the universe functions. So I've got a little picture there on the screen, and which has a little bit of colorful text. If you notice, it says worry attracts more worry, right? Unhappiness attracts more unhappiness. Joy attracts more joy. Gratitude attracts more gratitude. So what's not written over there is abundance attracts more abundance. So if we want abundance in our life, if we want happiness in our life, if we want peace in our life, we got to be that first. You know, Gandhiji said, be the change you want to see in the world. Only when you be that can you have that. We always believe that, you know, if say I want to be a millionaire, what do I need to do? I need to get the million rupees, then I can be a millionaire, right? But that's not how it works. We are going the other, we are going the wrong way, you know. So you have to be the millionaire, and then you will attract the million rupees. Now, to be the millionaire, what do you need to do? You need to have that mindset. So that's what we are going to talk about today. How to get to be in a place where you can be what you want to be before you actually have what you want to have. Okay? Okay, so we'll move on to the next slide. So now, since we're talking about the law of attraction and how the universe functions, just so that we have a little bit of a basis of how we can bring things that we want into our life, I'll just take a little bit more time to explain this. So the universe is inclusion based. What does it mean when I say the universe is inclusion based? You cannot exclude anything from your experience. You keep including things into your experience. When you think about something, you're inviting it into your experience. Every time I think about something, if I think about wanting to do a webinar, here I am doing one. Okay. If I think about not wanting to do a webinar, I'm scared. You know, it makes me nervous to talk to many people together. If I feel scared and I say, no, 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 this is something I don't want to do, it still happens. What does this mean? When I say yes to something, it comes to me. When I say no to something, it also comes to me. There is no understanding of no in the universe. The word no is not understood by the universe. It just gives you everything that you think about. Whether I'm thinking about it in a way that I want it, or whether I'm thinking about it in a way that I don't want it, the universe just says, okay, you're thinking about this, here, have some more of it, have some more of it, have some more of it. So the only way I can actually leave something out of my experience is by not thinking about it, by thinking about something else instead. So every time I'm thinking, you know, I need more money, what do I think? I'm thinking in terms of money, so I should get more money. But I'm also thinking in terms of lack of money. I need more money means I don't have enough. And the moment I think in terms of I don't have enough, the universe says, yeah, have some more of that, not enough. So that is exactly how the universe functions. Think about something and the universe passes it on to you. So that's how we invite everything that we invite into our lives. I may not necessarily always think about the exact thing that I get into my life, in the sense that I will not think about cancer necessarily to, you know, be afflicted with it or to come across people who are afflicted with it. I don't constantly think about, oh, cancer nahi hona chahiye, or oh, cancer, or any such thing. But if I think about things in terms of what I don't want, when I constantly give attention to things that I don't want, a lot of things that come into my experience will be things that I don't want. It may be an illness, it may be an accident, it may be ill health in any kind of way, it may be lack of a lot of different things. So every time I think about something, it has to be coming into my experience. Now, which means that we need to be a little more careful about when we think of a subject, are we thinking of it in terms of having something, or are we thinking of it in terms of lack of something? Since we're talking about abundance, this is something that I feel that, I need to mention over and over again, that most of the times we don't even realize when we think about something, whether we are thinking about it in terms of lack or in terms of having a lot of it. And we tend to think about it in terms of lack and then expect the universe to provide something that we, haven't been thinking about in the way that we need to. So, I will be taking on questions later on, as Reema said. So, as you think of questions while I'm explaining stuff, you might want to put them in chat, right, everyone? Okay.
Yes. Yes. I also suggest, Nita, maybe our respected participants can also keep a paper and a pen ready next to them just to jot down their thoughts. Yeah, whatever suits them. Yeah.
Yes, that would be great, in fact.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll do something that you'll use the pen and paper for later on, right? Uh,
Beautiful. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So here it says abundance. Now that we're coming to our topic, abundance is all around you. If you actually look around, there is abundance of air to breathe, right? There's abundance of sunlight. There's abundance of rain when it's rainy season. There's abundance of greenery if you're not living in Bombay. Yeah, there is. And even if you're living in Bombay, there are pockets of abundant greenery. There is abundance of food when you need it. None of us are starving. Mm, so there's actually a lot. There is abundance of love in our lives. We have our families, we have our friends, we have our close people. So there's abundance of friendship, there's abundance of love. There's so much abundance available, but generally when we think of abundance, we tend to think in terms of money. When we think of abundance, it's all about, I should have a whole lot of money and then I will feel abundant. But just as I explained earlier, when you feel abundant, everything that makes you feel abundant will come into your experience. So feel abundant, use anything around you to feel the abundance that is there. And it could be anything. It could be the comfort you feel when you're sleeping. That's an abundance of comfort. That's an abundance of peace. That's an abundance of rest. Experience that, feel that, milk it. And when you milk it, more of it will come to you, because the universe gives you everything that you think about. So the more you think about things that make you feel, there's so much of this, there will be more of that coming into your life. So yeah, this was something that we discussed earlier also, Reema and I, when we were talking about doing this webinar, and we said, let's do this on the topic of abundance. This is something that I was telling her, that abundance is not outside of you, it's inside of you, it's in your mind. If you're willing to see it, that's the mindset you need to have. If you're willing to see it, it will show itself to you in various ways. Just like I said earlier, abundance of friendship, abundance of support, abundance of anything you need. Like, for example, I'll just give you an example of my own. When the pandemic started, and the first thing that happened was that maids stopped coming home. And for me, that was like a big deal. How will I manage all the work on my own? But I must say, what I experienced during the pandemic was an abundance of support. I did not know that I will be able to manage without a maid. That was one thing that I was very clear that no, I cannot manage without help. And I've realized that not only did we manage, we actually did very well with it. Only because I had abundant support from my family. Everybody pitched in. Everybody was there. Everybody was making sure that not one person is burdened. And everybody wanted to, including the kids. And it was amazing to see that. It was really nice to see that the kids were willingly pitching in to help with the housework. So that was an awesome thing, honestly, to experience. And I'm sure all of you would have experienced something like that during these 9 months. Abundance of support, or abundance of the warm blanket of love that your family provides. it's a beautiful thing to have. So here there's a picture again that has abundance consciousness and scarcity consciousness. And somebody who's got scarcity consciousness will constantly be worrying because they don't believe that the universe always provides, because it does. So I'm constantly worrying, oh, I don't know what will happen next. Then if I am thinking more in terms of scarcity, I will also be more critical of people around me. We all are at some point or the other, which doesn't mean that we are constantly scarcity conscious. It also means that in that moment we are scarcity conscious. Okay, so don't start telling yourself, okay, I do 1 or 2 or 5 of these things, that means I'm constantly scarcity conscious. It also means that there are times when you're scarcity conscious and there are times when you're abundance conscious, and that's fine. Okay, so yeah, so generally people who are conscious of scarcity are insecure. They will blame others for failures. They will not appreciate change so much. They will um, be angry. They will be nervous. They'll be anxious. They'll be uh, revengeful sometimes, frustrated, because they believe that unless they do the stuff that needs to be done, they're not going to get what they want. That is a slightly flawed way of thinking, in my experience, because when you're conscious of the abundance around you, you generally don't tend to uh, get anxious. You don't tend to get angry. You tend to understand that, you know, everything you want is available to you, and sooner or later, it is going to show itself in your life. Yeah.
So true. Yes.
Okay. So now we come to the topic of money. Since we are talking about abundance, you don't have to have money to attract money, but you cannot feel poor and attract money. The key is that you have to find ways of improving the way you feel from right where you stand before things can begin to change. Exactly what we mentioned earlier, that we've got to feel it, we've got to experience it, be it, before we can have it. So how do you now, you know, if I have maybe only a couple of 100 rupees in my pocket, how do I not feel poor? What can I do so that I don't feel poor if I have very little money in my possession? Honestly, I would also be feeling very, very insecure and, you know, worried about what's going to happen next. But there are ways to uh, overcome them. So what do you do? Um, you know, the most important and the most um, how would I say, the most potent uh, tool that we have is our imagination. Now, how do we use our imagination here? Say if I have 200 rupees in my pocket, I don't need to spend that 200 right away. But what I can do is that I need to think about different ways that I can spend my 200 rupees in. Now, I will think of, okay, 200 rupees, I can buy a meal. Okay. I've used my 200 rupees to buy my meal. Now, in a little while, I may think of using the 200 in a different way. I may think of, you know, buying myself uh, a t-shirt that's going to help, that I can use in a few days. So I can use that 200 rupees to buy a t-shirt. Then I can use the 200 rupees to buy, I don't know, I can use it to even help somebody. I may want to give 50 rupees to somebody else who doesn't have anything. And so whatever different ways, now I can think of 5, 7, 10 different ways that I can use my 200 rupees. If I thought of 10 different ways to use the 200 rupees, I have actually in my imagination spent 200 into 10, which is 2000 rupees. Okay. So in my imagination, when I spend 1000 rupees, what I do is I shift my vibration. I'm not now vibrating at, I have nothing. I'm now vibrating at, I was able to spend 2000 rupees. I may not actually have spent it, but I've changed something in my vibration. And when I've changed something in my vibration, it will start to attract stuff. This is how energy functions now. Energy vibe. So that's another thing that's really important to understand. We are all energy. So is money. Everything around us is made of energy that vibrates. That's why when we talk about, I can sense your vibes. What am I talking about? I'm saying, I know I am energy. I know your energy and I know where you're vibrating. I understand it because I am the same. Right. So as we change, as we shift our vibration, the energy in us has shifted, and so it attracts energy that is similar to it. Now I feel abundant enough to have 2,000 rupees and be able to spend it, so I will attract that. Now I've used very small amounts of money. Of course it can be much more. So uh, there are exercises. I mean, I've been conducting a 30-day program, which is going on, which will end on the 30th. And one of the games we played over there was the abundance prosperity game. It's called the prosperity game. And one of the things we do in that is spend a certain amount of money every single day just in the imagination. And we spend big amounts of money in that imagination. And not only do we just spend it vaguely, we make sure that if I have 1 lakh rupees to spend today, I will find 2, 3 items or one item, whatever it is that I want to spend on, and make sure that I am noting down the details of that item. Say I want to buy a laptop. So I want a Dell laptop with this specifications, and this is the cost. So I note down, just like, keeping an account book. This is what we do. We keep an account book where we spend a certain amount of money every day. At the end of 30 days, when you've spent a lot of money, you start to feel so abundant that you automatically attract a lot of abundance in your life. So this is something I would like everyone to do every day. Do this in your imagination. It costs you nothing, but it will bring you a lot. There is zero investment except for the notebook that you'll buy. There is absolutely zero investment, but the returns on investment are awesome. So try it out. Okay?
Interesting. So this is like a very valuable tip.
Yes, absolutely. This is something that it's valuable and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Everyone who does it comes back to me and says, Nita, this is so much fun to do.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So when you can have fun and get what you want, it's like a double whammy, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So that's what abundance was about. We can now take questions. You had a few questions, Reema.
Yes,
You want to
I
start
do.
with those? Yeah.
Yes, I do. But Neither, before I even get into the question answers, I always believe it's so important to just sum up certain things that you so beautifully narrated, because the audience is so vibrant here. Thank you once again, my valued audience. It's a Sunday evening. Thank you so much for spending that last Sunday evening of 2020 with us. It means a lot to me, because it's all about giving value, about loving and respecting one another. And I keep saying we are all in it together. We're all in it to this challenge, to this so-called chaos. But in all that chaos, Nita, I can see I'm already feeling the calm.
I'm so glad to hear that.
And
I'm so
trust me.
glad.
It's just something, as you said, the vibrations. I believe in vibrations. That's what it's like, through my career or as a mother, as a wife. I think it's so important to have that vibration, and it's a fact of life. I mean, thank you again for opening it up to me. You said something very beautiful, Nita. You said that abundance is all around you, and you have abundance of love, abundance of gratitude. You say, with the pandemic, the mate's not coming in, and you just realized that you all beautifully function together. But you also made a very pertinent point. It's all in your mind. And if you're willing to see it, you're going to get it.
Absolutely.
Now, Nita, that's the key. Are we all willing to see all this? Because we're so consumed in nahi ho raha hai, yaar ye theek nahi hai, yaar ye what nonsense wala scene, we are always in that so-called complaint mode. And I remember my mother always told me this, and now I realize every word of it, that never see the glass half empty. As a, as student, as whatever, my small percentage of marks. I was terrible at maths. But once I 55 out of 100, by the way. And my mom celebrated that 55. She said,
Awesome.
yeah, she said, guess what? It's not 43 anymore. So, and she always saw the glass full. So, yeah, I think that abundance kind of worked on me because I did well eventually in maths. But let's get to questions. I swear, thank you so much, Nita, because you brought in a lot of positive vibrations. I can actually feel it, and genuinely thank you. Questions, Nita, questions. I can see questions coming in, but there's this lady who's actually said a thank you to you, Nita, because she says very beautifully that, this is not a comment, but it's a comment, but not a question. My 9 months, I felt was a rebirth, she said, for her. It was a change in attitude for her, and she wants to thank all the people around her who brought in so much of joy in her life, and hence gratitude for her spouse, gratitude to her children. And she just wants to say that, with all the negativity, she finally sees that it all came together for a reason for her. So I wouldn't, because of respect, I do want to take the name of my attendees because it's not fair. These are all personal questions. Another very important question that's come to me is, there's someone who's goofed up big time in life, made a big mistake. That person is very scared to face the consequences of that mistake. Very anxious at the moment, wants to know how to attract some kind of positive energy because he knows he's goofed up. Nita, can you take this question, please?
Sure. So the first thing to remember is, one, what's done is done. There's nothing you can do to change that right now. Understand that. Forgive yourself for it. The best thing you can do for yourself, is treat yourself like the person you love the most. It could, just remember, if you have a child, what would you do if the child told you that I've made a mistake? What do I do now? What would you do for that child? You would forgive that child. Do that for yourself too. Treat yourself just the way you would treat your child. Secondly, now, to go one step further, why look at it like a blunder? You've done what you've done from a place of, wherever you were in that moment. That was the best you thought you could do. Did you do it deliberately? That, no, I want to make this kind of a mistake. No, I want to do something that will hurt somebody. You did not. So understand one thing, hindsight is 20/20 always.
Correct.
You look back, you will always see, okay, I could have done this better. But when you're in the situation, you are always doing the best you can. So understand that and give yourself the space to make those mistakes too. Do things that may not now seem like the best thing you could have done, but in that moment that seemed like the best thing you could have done. So when you do something like that, something that now feels like a mistake, you've got to understand that you did not have the experience that this mistake gave you to understand that it's a mistake. And so you did what you did.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So the message to this gentleman is very clear that first and foremost, Nita, you're telling him very clearly, forgive yourself.
Absolutely.
Enough of getting into this negative zone that I made a mistake, I'm anxious, I'm going to mess up further. No, you're saying stop there.
Yes.
Right there.
Yes.
Forgive yourself. The way you treat your own child, saying that, all right, you made a mistake, not a problem. Hang on, just heal yourself there, is what you're saying. Treat yourself better. And you're saying this experience of that mess up gave you an experience itself of not how to mess up in the future.
Yes. And those experiences are very, very important. It's only when you do something like that that you realize that this was not to be done. Until then, you didn't know that.
Very true. Very, very true.
Yes.
I just hope the person, if the attendee is here, if you can raise your hand, I can probably see your hand. If your question has been answered, are you feeling better? Are you feeling in a better space? Because she's also given you some interesting pointers to ponder upon, literally. The second question is on a boss-subordinate relationship. Now there's this lady who I can feel her pain when she wrote it. She's literally saying that, you know, there was a time I need the money. She says I can't quit my job. I obviously have this extremely pushy boss. Nothing pleases the boss. Every time is a question, every time is a doubt. I'm balancing my career, I'm balancing my home, I'm doing my best, and there is zero appreciation. How do I attract appreciation and gratitude in my life from the work front? Is what she really wants to know.
Okay, so one of the most important things to understand is when you're thinking in terms of energy, is that what you give out is what comes back to you. So if you're radiating something, that is what will come back. Now, I'm not saying that you are radiating bad behavior, no, but you are radiating being a victim of something like that. So this is not your fault. A lot of people are facing this kind of situation at home, especially since the pandemic, and since people have started working from home. Timings are an issue because you're at home all the time. Your office is your home is your office. So timings have been stretched to no end. Instead of your 9 to 5 job, it's probably become a 7 to 11 job. And I mean, I've heard a lot of people complaining about bad behavior from office colleagues and bosses. And it's not your fault. Please understand, it's not your fault. But the fact is that if you are to take charge of your life and not be somebody who just takes bad behavior from somebody, it is your job to set your boundaries. How do you set a boundary? you it is necessary for you to understand that for you to understand for yourself how much you are willing to take and where you will draw the line. This much is okay and beyond that isn't. And there is nothing that communication cannot resolve. So the only way to resolve something is through communication. Now, if there are times when uh, that may not be very feasible, considering that it's your boss you're talking about. But before you verbally set your boundaries in your mind. Understand that very clearly, that this is how much I am willing to take. It's okay with me, you know uh, if this happens, but beyond this, it's not okay with me. When you are very clear about that, when you don't feel guilty about having to do all the stuff that your boss asks you to do, or having to listen to all the stuff that your boss says, whether it's rude or absolutely unrequired, then when you are very clear about that, you will be able to convey it in a way that is very effective. But until you are not clear, you cannot convey it. So important, very important. Get that clarity first.
Clarity of your own boundaries is what
Yes,
you're saying, Anita.
yes,
Needs to
yes.
understand that I'm getting a lot of insults from my boss because she is the victim, yes, sure. But you're saying to her very clearly, keep your boundaries right.
Yes, stop being the victim. You don't have to
Stop
be
being
the
the
victim.
victim.
Yes.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
Stop being the victim, because being a victim and allowing yourself to take that kind of behavior from somebody is a complete lack of self-love. When you are vibrating lack of self-love, the universe is going to give you more of it.
Wonderful. Wow, what a good thought. I
Yeah.
mean, we kind of complain that this one's ill-treating me. I mean, I want to go to my next question is actually a very sensitive one. It's a case of domestic violence.
Mhm.
It's a tough one, but again, I think it's so related. If the man or a woman, both ways, violence happens both ways. I mean, why
Yes,
the victim card is the woman, but again, it's self-love. The moment you kind of realize it's self-love, it's a tough one. It's a very tough one,
it
but
is.
you all need to walk that journey.
Yes, absolutely.
Brilliant.
A very simple way to explain self-love is, when you're traveling by air, the safety instructions that are given to you
Exactly.
include the instructions for the mask that will drop in when there's the air pressure issue. So what happens when the mask drops down? Are you supposed to help others to put it on first? Are you supposed to put it on yourself first?
Awesome. Yourself.
Yeah.
Yourself. Yeah.
You even if you have an infant, you put it on first and then help the child, because an empty cup cannot overflow. If you want love to overflow, you've got to give it to yourself first. Fill yourself up with it before you can give it out.
So true. So true. Nita, I'm flowing with questions, but this is interesting. Audience, thank you so much. Apart from the 7, 8 questions that came before the session, I can see questions flowing in. Nita, very interestingly, this question is from, again, a woman, a lady, who says, tell me 5 things that I want to do, that I have to say to myself on a Monday morning. That positive vibration coming in, just 5 things that I want to say as a dialogue to myself, like a positive self-talk is what I feel, which personally I do, but it's positive self-talk, I think, is what she's wanting. And she also says this, that she's gone through a very bad divorce. She's gone through a very bad relationship. And how do I start anew now?
The one thing that I will not give somebody is a formula. So there will not be 5 things that anyone can say to themselves and feel good. No, each one will have their own individual things that mean something to them. What may mean something to me may not mean something to you. So things to say is something that will come later, but before that, you want to feel good. The moment you feel good, no matter what you say, is going to be an affirmation. So first, your job is to feel good. What I do for myself, I do this every day, and this is something that everyone knows me for. I start my day with a smile. When I wake up, I smile for a minute. Okay, just start your day with a smile. No matter what has happened the previous night, leave all of that aside for now. Wake up and smile. It just sends a message to your brain that everything's good. And then you start your day with that. So start with that. Give yourself 5 minutes, just 5 minutes of meditation. Not required to do like hours and hours of meditation, but give yourself 5 minutes of that. Just 5 minutes of sit and do nothing. Give yourself that time. Wake up a little early if you have to. Give yourself 10, 15, half an hour, 30 minutes extra. Wake up a little early and have that little time to yourself that helps you to center yourself. Don't get up and start rushing into work. Most of us do that, especially moms. I know, and I'm a mom, so I can tell you, mornings are like, wake up, get up, get your kids going to school or whatever else, and get into the kitchen, get the dabbas, this, that. You're just rushing into stuff. But don't do that. Give yourself half an hour extra in the morning. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Give yourself that half an hour extra to just sit and do nothing. Center your thoughts. Meditate a little bit. Smile to yourself. Think about all the good things that have happened in your life. And think about all the good things that you want should happen in your life. In the morning. When you do that, it starts off your day very well.
Wonderful. So, I hope the ladies got her answer. The Monday morning, 5 things she needed. But I think the most important thing, ma'am, what Nita is saying to you is, apart from that, the most important thing is just smile to yourself. Like,
Yeah.
literally, it reminds me of the film, The 3 Idiots, all is well, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is. It really is.
Yeah. So point number 1 is all is well. Just keep saying that to yourself. Center yourself, like as they say, like, get the inner compass really in, and kind of just navigate yourself there. And again, you just to reiterate for my audience, she spoke about forgiving yourself for somebody who has really goofed up in life, he feels. And she says self-love is the key to your happiness. Stop blaming yourself. If you don't love yourself, the world cannot love you, is a serious message that Nita gives out. Right, Nita?
Absolutely.
Brilliant. So, handling your divorced relationships, your bad, vibes with maybe your partner or whoever, basic thing is self-love.
So when there's somebody who's gone through a divorce, generally it is a divorce is not, is obviously not easy. It's very tough to go through something like that. And people who go through it, no matter whether they're the ones who initiated it or they're the ones who are on the receiving end, it feels like you failed at something that is really big in your life. So now that's one way to look at it. It doesn't feel good at all, but there is a way to just move past that and look for the positive aspects of the divorce, because the divorce has also caused things to happen in your life that would not have happened if you were not divorced. So there are positive aspects of the divorce too. Look for those. Always keep looking for the positive aspects of anything and everything around you. There is always a positive. If you're willing to see it, there is always a positive to everything that happens. There is a positive even to the pandemic, like the lady who said that, the 9 months have been like a rebirth. So things have, a lot of us, I think most of us have gone through things during the pandemic, during the lockdown, that has changed our perspective in a lot of different ways about a lot of different things, and it has been a very positive thing for all of us. So yes, we can look at it like, 9 months we had to work from home, it was not comfortable, so many people suffered. Yes, all of that did happen, but is that all we want to see? There is more that has happened which is positive. Why don't we see that? The glass half full ideology. So why not? Yeah.
Nita, the next question that's coming up to me, and it's a very interesting one. I'm just kind of clubbing few relationship questions here. One is, there's a person who's saying that he or she has been badly hurt by somebody. Should they go up front and tell that person, look, you're really hurting me? That's question number one. And what is it wrong to tell that person that you're really hurting me, I don't like this? And second question from a lady here who's saying that she's extremely concerned about her son being unemployed. The son is trying very, very hard to get a job. He's trying his best to get a job, but he's not attracting jobs, and in difficult times like that, they're running out of finances. So this is yet another pertinent question, Nita.
So we'll take them one by one. The first one is about the person who's hurt, and so my way of looking at it is this: it's not whether you tell the person or you don't tell the person that makes a difference. Uh, it's not going to affect your life in any way whether you tell the person or not. What is going to make all the difference is how you feel about it. You're hurt, yes, but is that where you want to stay? Do you want to stay hurt or do you want to feel better? If you know that you want to feel better, what is it that you want to feel? Say if I'm hurt by somebody, then I'm usually angry with that person, and I don't want to constantly be angry because that doesn't feel good. So what do I want to feel? I want to feel unhurtable. And how do I get to be unhurtable? When I'm feeling good about things, when people say things to me that are hurtful, they don't hurt me. But when I'm not feeling good about stuff, and then people say things to me that are hurtful, they really hurt me. So I want to be in a place that no matter what anyone says, it doesn't hurt me. I cannot go out and control the whole world and tell them, you should say this or you shouldn't say this or you should do this or you shouldn't do this, because that's not helping me at all. I'm not going to be able to control all of that. But what I can control is how I feel. So I might as well work there. So what I want to do is I want to get to a place where I'm unhurtable. Now, if I've already experienced the hurt, let's look at it like, okay, that's done. What can I do now? What's done is done. Let's look at what we can do next. What can I do now about it? I can look for ways to feel good so that the hurt doesn't affect me anymore. And that's called true freedom. Freedom from, wanting to try and control others. Freedom from wanting circumstances to be in a certain way before I feel good. I want to feel good unconditionally. So my advice to that person is, it really doesn't matter whether you go and talk to that person or not. First, feel better. And when you feel better, you will know what to do. You will get your own impulses, you will get your own ideas. I may tell you, go and tell that person, but telling that person may backfire on you. So I will not give you, again, I will not give you a formula. I will not give you actionable points here. I will give you just an idea that you got to feel good for yourself. And when you feel good, whatever you do will make all the difference.
So you're giving a message to this person that you've been hurt, you've been insulted by somebody. Just stay there. Just say, this is it. This is the past now. I need to now move on to a better space towards self-love. And you would not advise that person to go and now also fight back. Is what
I wouldn't even not advise them. I would just say, first feel better and then follow your instinct.
right. So the
Yeah.
thing is first to feel better.
Yes,
Right.
that is the most important, and that is the most important thing. No matter what you're going to do, feel good and then do stuff. Any action needs to be taken when you're feeling good. When you take action, any kind of action, when you're not feeling good, it is always going to backfire. It is always going to backfire.
Very, very true. And that question number two, Nita, about the mother being concerned about the child's job.
Um, so the thing is that and this can be said for all mothers, that we all are in a place where we feel that our child deserves the best, and they do, absolutely they do. But our children have come onto this planet with their own destiny, with their own path that we cannot control. um, yes, we can feel bad, but when we feel bad, we are only saying, oh, you poor thing, and looking at them in a way that is not very empowering. The way to look at a child, whether he's going through a bad time or a good time, is that he or she is very powerful and very independent, and is capable of managing no matter what happens. And then when you look at them that way, so the problem here is not that the child doesn't have a job. The problem is that she feels bad about that. In her case, okay, in her case, that is the problem. Anything that bothers you, it bothers you because you don't feel good about it. Okay, if you felt good, no matter what was happening, wouldn't bother you. Okay, so, and anything that you want, she wants the child to get a job. Why? Because it will make life easier for the child, and when the child has an easier life, she'll feel happy, because that's what she wants for the child. So all of us mothers want that, right? We want our children to be really happy, and when they are happy, when you see them happy, you feel happy. So anything that we want because it will make us happy to have that thing, whether it's a child's job, or whether it's a diamond ring, or whether it's a peace on earth. Why do we want any of it? Whatever it is that we want it because we believe that when that happens, we will be happy, right? So she also wants the child's job, she also wants comfort in the child's life, because she wants, that will make her happy. But if she is willing to be happy now and see the child as going through his path of discomfort before he reaches a place where, if all of us have gone through discomfort, all of us have gone through stuff that has been unwanted, and we have all grown out of it. Any kind of, that's what they say about a diamond, right? A coal that has been put into a lot of pressure becomes a diamond, right? So any kind of any kind of pressure or a bad situation that we are all going through is going to help us to grow. So this is his path of growth. It is growth for the child that's coming up, and he will grow. And as long as she is willing to see that, as long as she's willing to let him be in that uncomfortable path that is going to take him to his growth, um, I think both of them will benefit, the mother and the child.
So So you're telling this person, this lady, very clearly that her son's going through this hard time, obviously not getting a job, struggling hard to get it. It's his journey.
It is journey, yes.
And you're saying very clearly, let him go through that journey. You be in a positive frame.
Yes.
Don't say nahi ho raha hai, job nahi mil raha hai. Just say it's supposed to be that way. Job ho raha hai. You know something. In,
More than job ho raha hai,
huh,
I know that wherever this path leads him will be the best for him.
sure, sure.
For all you know, because he's not getting a job, he may think of a different thing to do.
Right.
There was this, okay, perfect. There's an example which completely matches this situation. So there was this mother who was constantly worried about her son because he was constantly on YouTube. And he was always just, wanting to make videos on YouTube, always wanting to watch other videos on YouTube, and he was constantly on YouTube. And she was like, this is just getting out of hand. When will he learn to do other things? When will he go out and get a job for himself? And it so happened that this child, this son of hers, because of spending that much time on YouTube, became a very, very popular YouTuber and started making a lot of money off YouTube. And she realized that, oh, she never needed to worry. So that was his journey. And there is always a journey. We think in certain terms that we've gone through this kind of a life, and so probably our children will have the same kind of life, but that's not necessary. It's not necessary. Their journey is completely different from ours. It may lead them in very, very unexpected and very, very different uh, results, or yeah. So they may experience very different things than you have experienced. So let them have that. Let them have that.
Yeah. So you're saying the choppy waters are also worth it.
Oh, absolutely. The choppy waters are the things that get us to and help us to appreciate the calm when it actually comes in again.
Brilliant. Nita, you know what I'm feeling just very, very good about? The person who wrote this sent me a message just now. Thank you so much. You've so calmed me down.
I'm so glad. I'm really, really so glad.
She just sent me a message saying, thank you, it's calmed me down. So I just, as I was telling my audience when I started that, the purpose of the remarkable.com is just this. Just if I can just bring a smile to that one person, I think my 1 hour is sorted. And I'm so happy you made that difference with this small conversation. Actually said, hey, thanks so much, it calmed me down.
I'm so glad.
I'm so glad too. The next question, once again, a real sensitive one, is the mother-daughter relationship. That was mother-son, this is mother-daughter. The daughter is abroad, marriageable age, a pretty nice girl, highly educated, not wanting to settle down. And she, as you say, the new mother is not wanting to get into her private space. She said, I want to be this mother, not intruding in her privacy, but it's really concerning me that my daughter is all of 28 and not ready to settle down. That the concept of getting married is playing on the mind. And how does she attract the right spouse in her life? How does she attract the right man into her life? The mother's concerned about the daughter who's abroad. Nita.
So, Reema, you tell me, do you know anybody, any woman who's not married and yet happy?
I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's, each one to themselves.
Yeah, so are there women who are not married and yet are happy?
They're happy.
Yeah.
Some people are happy.
Yeah, and women who are married and happy too, right?
Yeah, of course.
And then there are married women who are unhappy too,
Of course.
right? And then there are women who are not married and are unhappy too.
Yes.
So is marriage the thing that really is the most important thing for happiness? Is it?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it relevant to the happiness? It isn't. It really isn't. So as a mother, what the mother wants is the child's happiness, and she believes that it can only come through marriage, and that is what is causing any kind of concern. As long as you focus on the child's happiness, the daughter's happiness, I don't think there will be any concern. She will find her partner in due time if she wants to.
Yeah, so Nita, I would like to correct myself here. My apologies. I read the question a little wrongly. Now daughter is very clear she also wants to get married.
Okay.
It's the mother-daughter combination now, saying that the daughter also wants to settle down, but hence not finding the right spouse. So my apologies, I interpreted that question wrongly. So
Okay.
I rectify myself. The girl also wants to find a spouse, not finding one.
So then in that case, my answer to the mother will be different from my answer to the daughter. So is the mother asking the question or is the daughter?
Yes, please. The mother's asking the question.
Okay. In that case, my answer to the mother is the same as the answer I gave the mother whose son was looking for a job and not yet found one. They have a journey of their own. Let them go through it. You cannot control it for them. You cannot feather their nest. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not in your control. The only thing you'll actually be doing if you are concerned about it is worrying. And that's not helping the situation at all. The best thing you can do for your daughter is look at her in a way that is a very benevolent way to look at her. See all her uh, look for her good points. Look for why she would make an amazing partner to her spouse. Look look at her in those ways. Look for her positive aspects again. The moment you start looking at those are the things that show up in your experience. And when you see those, you will see that she's attracting what she wants to attract. But that is going to be your you cannot attract something for somebody else unless they want it too. In this case, yes, the daughter wants it. So yes, you keep looking at her in a way that that she's very capable of attracting the partner because she has all the qualities that a good partner should have, and look for those qualities in her.
So
if
true.
i'm looking at if I'm looking at a friend who's looking to get married, I will look at why she would be a great partner to her husband. I would look at how she's very adaptive to a new situation, because when you get married you do have to adapt. So I will also look at how she is very compassionate. She understands another person's point of view. She's willing to do things. She's willing to make sure that the other person is happy being in a relationship. So these are the things that I would look for in my daughter if my daughter was the one looking for a relationship. And I would keep doing that, and I would keep feeling happy about the fact that she's such a good person that there is no way she cannot have a fantastic partner just because she wants to.
Sure.
And the more I do that, the more I feel happy about it. And the more I feel happy about it, the easier it is for it to come into my experience, whatever it is that I want.
Brilliant. So again, because there's another question again, how do I attract the right spouse in my life? All hovering around the same problem, that we meeting the right life partner. And I so understand. Yeah, I mean, we've all gone through it. I mean, we do want to kind of take chances there, as they say. But as you said, we're all on this journey, and we need to believe that if you're internally good, and you will attract the right good, is what you're saying very clearly.
Yeah.
And giving the clear message to the mother saying, hey, just relax, hang in there, it's her journey, and both together you all are going to do it very well.
Yes. And for the person who is looking for a spouse, for a person
Correct.
who is looking for a partner, you're looking for a relationship because that relationship is what you believe will make you happy. So make yourself happy first. Be happy in your relationship with yourself first. When you're happy with yourself, when you're, we have been taught that our partner is our better half,
Mm.
you know, and we complete each other. It's like, we fit in and we complete each other. But that's not how a relationship is really. If you believe that you're incomplete and you need somebody else to complete you, believe me, you're going to be really struggling in a relationship. When you know that you are complete, and then you find another person who's also complete and whole and absolutely, you know, independent of uh, the requirement to have a partner. Okay, that neediness is not there, and the relationship happens because you're happy and that other person is happy, and then you come together because both of you are happy, and happy attracts happy. That is the kind of relationship that anybody wants to be in. So first get happy on your own, and then the partner who matches that will show up.
Brilliant. And one more question about this person saying that I've always been scarcity conscious. I want to now become, all the time I saw life with fear. Seen life with pessimism. I've seen ye nahi aayega, paisa nahi hoga. And I don't want that to pass on to my children. My pessimistic attitude, my scarcity consciousness, I want it to become abundance consciousness. Is there something I can really practice, is what this person wants to know.
Yes, yes. The thing to remember is that you pass on to your children what you believe, not what you say. So don't just do lip service to abundance consciousness. Be abundant conscious. You need to be abundance conscious, which means you constantly need to notice that there are things around you, that you have abundance in a lot of different things. There is so much around you that wasn't there earlier and you have now. Or there has been so much around you that you haven't been noticing but has always been there. So start noticing all these things. When you notice and your children see you noticing, they will learn to do so also. If
Brilliant.
you don't notice it, but you expect the kids to do something, it's like saying, I'm going to, I'm going to just be who I am, but you need to change. And that just doesn't work. It doesn't work like that.
Wow. Wow.
You be the example. You always will be the example for your children, because your children will always imitate your vibrations. So if your vibration is of abundance, they will automatically be that. It's always, the work is always done on yourself, never on anybody else, because everybody else is just there in your life. Now this is something that's usually I teach people a little later, but okay, I'm going to tell you all this. Everybody else in our lives is just there to remind us about where we are vibrating. Okay, like if there is the rude boss reminding me that I'm not setting my boundaries. Okay, if there is a lack of a partner, is reminding me that I'm not in a great relationship with myself first. Okay, if I'm constantly seeing happy stuff happening, that means I'm in a happy space myself. So it's the outside is always reflecting what is inside.
Yes. Yes. So clear message to this gentleman or this lady is, what you believe is what your children pick up.
Yes.
It's a very serious statement, Nita, and not what you say to them. I love this. So you actually pass on that vibration of positive
Yes.
attitude.
Yes.
Because very clearly, and he or she is feeling bad about it, that I'm in the scarcity consciousness. I want to move into the abundance. Aware, they don't want to pass it on. So brilliant. Okay.
So there's a very important point here, Reema, that when you feel bad about being a certain way, that is also scarcity consciousness. That is telling yourself, oh, I've done a bad thing, and that is already affecting my life in a negative way. No, but that can change in a second. There is always what you want available to you. And believe me, no matter how much you think you're constantly scarcity conscious, you're not. There have been times that you've been abundant conscious, just that you haven't focused on those as much as you focused on the fact that you've been scarcity conscious. So look for those times when you've actually been conscious of abundance and appreciated stuff, and keep doing more of that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, frankly, in my life, as I told you, I constantly tell this to myself, what my mom did to me. When I got that 55 out of 100 in math, she celebrated because it wasn't 43 out of 100. So,
Yeah.
so yes, Nita, I mean, I live with this. I mean, she gives me that strength really, because I didn't
Awesome.
even
Yeah.
know what was law of abundance. I didn't know what was law of attraction. We are talking about the 1980s, and I'm sorry, we were not as aware. Let me be honest. And my mother's gyan was just simple gyan, I guess, but it kind of worked for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know, what do we do, Nita? It's 6:10. I was supposed to end this at 6, but there are questions coming in, audience. I would only like to say thank you, because Nita, one more thank you coming in, many thank yous coming in, saying it was worth it attending this webinar. I mean, oh my,
Absolutely.
This is obviously an anonymous message. I'm not getting names here because they also want to keep their respect, I'm sure. But thank you for these messages, because these messages hold meaning for me, because this is my energy booster for 2021. That maybe, as I said, somebody told me this very beautifully when I started Reemarkabl.com. They said, Reema, if your intention is right now, and this again came from a very senior lady who's now 80, 81. She's saying, beta, अच्छे लोग तुम्हारे साथ जुड़ते जाएंगे. And I didn't, come on, I mean, you're just starting something, you've decided to, do something on your own, quit this happening job with the, at a great newspaper. And then she said, nahi beta, अच्छे लोग जुड़ते जाएंगे तुम्हारे साथ. So, and I kind of just told myself, maybe I didn't count on her blessings because, and I think, Nita, this is it. This is the law of attraction. If I'm not mistaken, just realizing to yourself and telling yourself this, that great, you're on the right path. Number one, just to sum my lovely attendees, Nita said few things very clearly. First and foremost, 2021, all of us get up in the morning and give yourself a smile. All through 365 days of 2021, COVID positive, COVID negative, jo bhi ho jaye, if you're even on the bed with COVID positive, saying smile, guys. Right, Nita?
Yes, absolutely.
You never know. I mean, I might land up with COVID just tomorrow. But you're just telling me that, just stay in there, girl. Just smile to yourself, that early morning smile. Secondly, very important point to sum up is you said self-love.
Yes.
That's the root cause of all our issues, because if you don't love yourself, you're finished, because you can't expect your spouse to love you. You can't expect your kids to love you. You can't expect your boss to love you. Correct, Nita?
Absolutely.
Point number 3, she said to that gentleman, first and foremost, you've messed up. Cool, we all mess up. We are not perfect human beings, right? Great, messed up. You made the biggest blunder of your life. Forgive yourself. Point number 3 is all through 2021, if you goof up, it's fine, guys. Forgive yourself. Pick up yourself and say, all right, that's an experience. Don't blame yourself. Don't get into this horrible blame game that I'm bad and I'm going to be duped and whatever. Right? Point number 4, she told this beautiful mother-daughter relationship, saying that we all are in this journey. Okay, let us live through that journey and don't get scared of choppy waters. Don't fear choppy waters is what you're saying, because you flow through those choppy waters to get that kinara, as they call it. And that kirana, you never know, maybe far better than the kirana you're actually looking for. That YouTuber's example you gave us.
Yes.
Right, Nita? And the last and not least is abundance is all around you. Correct? You said you need the mind to find it. Right? Abundance is all around you. I keep telling this to myself also, by the grace of God. We have like healthy children, everything is going great, things are moving well, is what we need to constantly remind ourselves. That, as you said, there's abundance of air. Even if we live in so-called a gas chamber like Mumbai city, find your little oxygen pocket.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Nita, what do we do? Should we say a big thank you, attendees? Can we take these questions? Nita, can I send you these questions maybe offline? And, if the participants just want to drop me an email if they are comfortable, I will be very happy to take it. Nita, one more thank you, 5 more thank yous. Nita, I just want to say thank you. You've been brilliant. You opened my eyes to some reality. These are the comments coming in, Nita. So on this very, very auspicious, I think auspicious is what I call it. Because as you said, as the First Lady said, 2020 was a rebirth for her. So I think it was a rebirth for us in a lot of sorts. We all, on this lovely last Sunday evening of 2020, my darling and my very special Nita, thank you so much. And be the beautiful you that you've always been. Spread that love of abundance and the law of attraction. Thank you for healing us. Thank you for healing me, because I'm only seeing things so beautifully today. And to all my fellow attendees, my team here, most fabulous 2021, really. 2021, where I'm not saying it's not going to be of challenges, certainly with challenges, but bring in that calm in your challenge. On this positive note, I@remarkable.com. If possible, if you all can, do visit my site, do subscribe to my channel, because my only mission is to give out stories of sense and not sensation. And I really, really, with that single-minded dedication, to bring in stories which are noteworthy and bring in personalities which are noteworthy, like Nita Sundararaju. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and have a fabulous evening and a fabulous 2021. Thank you so much. I will sign off at remarkable.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.